Hello and welcome to Cosmic Commentary podcast number 2. Whether you hate or love football, we're here for you. It's me, Klos, and Cos.
That's right.
And today we talk about... Well, first we go into the Copa America a little bit. And, you know, Lionel Messi. And then eventually we got to Chelsea and Manchester United, which is our main
topics of discussion.
Yeah, the main meal for the day. The Copa America is just the entree. And basically leading into the season. So more or less how we expect them to focus on in those kind of
how
things.
we expect them to go and where they'll finish.
Yeah. So
that's it.
Without further ado, yes. Yeah, enjoy the episode.
100%.
So it's been another big week in football. We've got the continental competitions, like 600 of them.
Yeah, 2 are finished.
Three finished. 4 are finished actually.
4 are finished.
Okay, so
really?
were the under 21s? Sorry.
Well, the under 21s.
Okay, we won't go into that. I don't even know why I brought that up.
Yeah, why did you bring that up? I wasn't expecting any of that.
Okay.
The Women's World Cup.
That's the marquee. Yep.
That was the marquee.
The Americans won.
Yeah, the Americans won.
Yes, the US.
Speaking of the US, they did lose the Gold Cup,
and they lost the Gold Cup in the men's against Mexico. So that was today. So
that was today, and also today the Brazilians won
the Copa America against Peru.
Peru, yeah, surprise finalists. They did well,
but that wasn't the highlight of the tournament. The highlight has been a few headlines that have come through Lionel Messi.
Well, we love a bit of drama.
Yeah.
We
a
love a good rant.
It wasn't even just a rant. It was a string.
Oh, he was bitter. He was bitter.
Yeah, he was very bitter.
Absolutely pissed off.
Yeah, very, very angry.
He was.
It started in the semi-finals against Brazil. So the huge mashup, the Super El Clasico, I think they call it. Super Clasico or something along those lines.
That's an insult.
Insult to who?
Uruguay. They got just as much prestige.
Yes, the Argentinians. That's true.
I'm just spitballing here.
Yeah, it's hard. I think the biggest rivalry is between Argentina and Brazil.
Definitely is.
Back onto that though. So in the semi-finals, Messi, obviously Brazil beat Argentina. It was 2-0.
Yep.
But it wasn't without controversy. Lionel Messi, I watched some highlights of that game, and for the first 30 minutes, Messi had about 50% of the highlights, but 90% of those highlights were his stare of death at the camera as he was helpless to do nothing.
He's carrying that team, basically.
No, but that's what I'm saying. In the first 35 minutes, he was basically just... he did nothing. Like, there was no highlights that involved him whatsoever. It was just all Brazil. It just the camera constantly went to Messi's face, and just he's staring, just like in utter dismay. Just
well, what can he do?
How can I get these guys? But then he started doing things in the 35th minute, including a slip where he just fell over and
Well, you can't keep him down.
No, you can't keep him down.
You can't.
But to no avail in the end. But after the game, Messi was absolutely just raging about one particular decision. There were a few decisions, but in general, he said that he attacked the referees. Right?
He did attack the referees. Apparently, they should have got a penalty.
Well, there were two big shouts. Apparently, I don't think he specifically mentioned, but other people, they're like, okay, he's talking about the 2 penalties. One in particular, though, which when the penalty was not given, the Argentinians kind of stopped. Like they hesitated. You know, it wasn't they just stopped playing, but they hesitated long enough. Brazil took full advantage, and they scored the second goal, which obviously completely changes the game. I mean, Argentina gets a penalty there.
Yeah,
it's 1-1 if they can score it. And unlike Sadio Mane, but we'll get to that. And instead, Brazil takes full advantage. They score a second goal. It's 2-0, and Argentina are livid. And
apparently after that penalty wasn't given, they sort of like stopped playing.
Yeah.
They played, but not to their potential, I guess.
Yeah,
you could see their efforts just completely dropped.
And Messi alluded to that in the interview later. He gave an interview. We'll just bring that up here. It's called the BS interview. I think that's the best way to call it.
The BS interview.
So, Messi. The officials had called a lot of BS. We won't say what BS means, but they don't. Yeah, they didn't even check the VAR tonight. That's unbelievable. So the main anger was towards the fact that VAR wasn't used. Okay, it's not about so much. Okay, it was a bad decision, whatever, blah blah blah, whatever. It's the fact that VAR was not referred to, or apparently not referred to. But
isn't VAR always being referred to?
Yeah, that's the thing. They're always
looking at it, and then they'll let the ref know if there's something there.
Yeah, but it doesn't seem that CONMEBOL is sort of... Usually VAR comes with explanations, they justify it. It's transparency. So the people, have trust in the system and they believe it. And it worked well in the World Cup. And there was a recent, I think the Champions League, the Women's World Cup has not been too bad.
Yeah, I got a little beef with VAR.
Yeah, well, the third place playoff.
The Women's World Cup highlighted this for me, and I want to just get it off my chest.
Not
now, later.
All right.
We'll talk about
finish this with Messi. They didn't check the VAR, and he was very unhappy with that, and that happened all over the game. At first glance of contact, they ruled in Brazil's favour. This kind of BS distracted us from the game. So he's saying essentially, that they stopped playing. It sort of they got shocked a bit.
But you got to be better.
Yeah, they got to be better than that.
You can't. Yeah.
And that's what we both agree on that. Throughout the tournament, they called BS handballs, BS penalties, and BS fouls, and somehow today they refused to use VAR. So.
I think this is overcome with emotions here.
Well,
this is what this is.
But he's annoyed at the inconsistency and the lack of transparency, I think, and I agree with that.
Yeah, that's fine.
I won't necessarily say the decisions were wrong, but the official stance on VAR is, like you say, they're always looking at it, but they only refer to the referee when they feel like he's made a mistake.
I think it will be reasonable to say that not all the players know that.
Yeah.
Like some of the players would think, oh, you didn't look at VAR but the last game you did.
Yeah.
So what's going on? I don't think it's been explained to the players how it works.
It's a bit like...
So there's a lot of confusion.
If you're working in retail and you check one person's bag, you got to check everyone's bag. Otherwise, they'll think, well, you checked my bag. Why didn't you check their bag? And then, it's a conspiracy theory or something. But the truth is, it's just, customer policy. Anyway, so Messi is unhappy. That was the semi-final. He wasn't happy with that. And then in the third place playoff, he got sent off for a alleged headbutt. And again, a lack of transparency there. VAR.
No VAR, but he didn't do anything.
Yeah.
He actually didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Gary Medel was just shepherding the ball behind.
That's the person whose head he hit.
Yeah, for a goal kick. Messi tried to win the ball. He was, I wouldn't say overly aggressive, but he made a challenge. He
stood his ground. He stood his ground.
But
the challenge.
The challenge to win the ball.
Yeah.
Medel took exception. He didn't like it, and basically just went after him. And Messi, to his credit, I would have done the same thing. Just held his ground, held his position, took the shoves. But there was no headbutt. There was just no headbutt. So I don't know why.
No, you would have been rolling, mate. Italian blood. It's got a.
Would he? Yeah.
No, you would have been rolling on the ground.
No, I don't do that.
Yeah,
no.
He doesn't do that.
I support it when I see it. I don't actually do it. He did nothing, and so I don't know why the ref sent them off.
Yeah,
if anything, Gary Medel should have been sent off, but not Messi. Messi did nothing.
Yeah, the explanation given for it was really flimsy. It was something along the lines of he did a whole bunch. He just named things that were not red card offences. He said he did them, and then said that justifies him being sent off. So it was really weak. And once again, VAR wasn't involved, and VAR is supposed to be used for red card offences to make sure, right. Especially for stuff like that, where the referee's not looking. It's an off-the-ball incident, so you're not going to be seeing exactly what happened.
That's the thing. That's essentially Messi's point, isn't it?
Yeah, and VAR's not happy. And then he went a step further and didn't come back for the medal ceremony to accept his third-place medal, because Argentina did win the game against Chile. It was Chile. They played against it in the third-place valve. Yeah. When they won that game, he didn't come back for the medal ceremony on the grounds that it was corrupt and just screaming corruption. So it's going to be interesting how that pans out.
He's probably got a point.
Yeah, but I don't think it's so much corruption as just.
Well, it's a throwaway word, isn't it? But it was something that it was incorrect.
I think it's just sort of lazy refereeing. You know what I mean?
It should have been used for that.
Yeah,
that's a mistake.
That is one of the main things it's for. Like for those incidents where the referee can't see, you should at least be able to have a look. It's like, hey, look, you should come have a look at this. Look, I think it could be the guys at the cameras who are at fault here.
It could be. Yeah,
they should be calling.
That's the thing. There's essentially more officials looking at it.
And they have to tell the referee to come have a look. It's not like the referee goes, "Oh, I want to see what happened." They say, "It's like, oh, was there anything worth seeing?" No, just keep playing. Just keep playing.
Well, the thing is, with more officials, it increases the likelihood A, for mistakes, but B, for corruption.
Yeah,
it actually does.
I mean, unless those officials are all coming from different places, but they're not. So, Anyway, so moving on. That's Messi taking the. I'm sure that'll develop further in the week as it goes on.
Die away.
But I hope it dies away. But people will talk about it anyway. It will come into the debate of who's better, Messi and Ronaldo, even though it has no relevance whatsoever. But you had another topic that the women's.
Well, the Women's World Cup, which the US won. So
congratulations to the US.
Their fourth title. But the thing about the offside rule, Mike, in your opinion, why is there an offside rule?
It's to give the defenders the ability to come up a bit, you know.
Well, it is, but it also, for me, it prevents the attacker having an outright advantage to, be in a position to win the ball, and the defender can't come back. Right? It's like an advantage in positioning.
Right. Yep. Yeah, so they don't give the striker... Yeah, it's to prevent cherry picking, essentially.
Yeah, exactly, 100%. Yeah. What VAR has done is it's now offside if your arm is just like this.
Can't be arm. Because arm's not a goal-scoring piece of the body.
That's what's going on. That's what I saw a vision where an attacker's arm was just stretched out, and that was offside. Where's the advantage with the arm? Where?
Well, that's the thing. No, well, that shouldn't be offside because the official rule is it has to be a part of the body that can score a goal. So the arm doesn't count.
Why was it given offside?
Did you have the volume on?
Of course I did.
Because I sometimes watch without the volume on. I don't know what they're talking about.
It was offside. I forgot
because of the arm.
Yes, because of the arm.
So that, ladies and gentlemen, is an example of the bad use of the offside rule. That should not happen.
Growing up, the offside was you got to be ahead of the play.
Yeah.
Like, this is ridiculous.
Although now, if your toe is in front of then that's offside.
Where's the advantage in that? It's gone too far now.
But I mean, that's
a toe.
But that's just the rule.
It's
right?
a toe.
So here's the issue here. So what they've done with VAR is now that they're precise. It's like in cricket when they introduced the third umpire for runouts, right? So they can get the exact moment the bat crossed the line and the bails came off.
But that's a different situation.
No, but it's the same deal.
It's the same idea.
That it's either offside or it's not. You know what I mean?
But in cricket, like, you got to be over the line. Or whatever. That's
that's the rule here too.
This is a thing where you're at an advantage to run at the ball.
Yes, but the rule is just about whether a goal-scoring potential body part of yours is ahead of the defender. Now, what you're saying has relevance too, because I mean they could change the rule to if you have an advantage, but that's harder to that's grey area then. Like now,
you are getting into a a grey area. But something needs to be done about that.
Yeah,
you can't be pulling goals away from toes, and
there should be a benefit of a doubt for a I don't know, like a centimetre or something, or. But then where's the hard line? You know what I mean?
That's what we have to work out. But right now, I don't like it. That's just the bottom line. I don't like it.
It is. But however, I will say it is good that they have an exact way of figuring out. The moment the ball is passed, they know exactly where everyone's standing.
I agree with that. The less grey area, the better.
The handballs as well needs a bit of work too. But they're getting there. They've changed the rules next season. We'll see what comes out of it. I don't think they're quite there yet, but we'll move on from that.
Yeah.
Because we have another article. This is the most important article.
Is it?
Is definitely the most important article.
Really?
Because
what have you found, Mike?
Well, it turns out that. Anton Ferdinand has been appointed the United Director of Football and Fashion. And,
how did you get an Anton Ferdinand?
Anton Ferdinand?
Yeah.
No, it's
Rio.
It's Rio. It is Rio.
What?
Look,
how did you get Anton?
Because Anton's his brother.
Didn't he play for West Ham?
Yeah. No, it's a different person. Right. It's cause,
maybe it is.
Okay, look,
Anton. Who knows?
it's not a thing. This is soccer on Sunday. Soccer on Sunday.
I can't get past this.
Okay, the title does not say the first name of the Ferdinand, and in my head, Anton sticks out more than Rio. But there's also a Les Ferdinand, but we won't go there. Okay, Soccer on Sunday, one of our favourite sites. It's a satire website.
It's a satire, yeah.
So don't be alarmed. There's no director of football and fashion. The thing I love about this article, though, it's got Rio Ferdinand saying going to the end of the article. This is the part. Where is it? Oh, here we go.
Of course, that's all they're talking.
So here we go. So Rio's got that football brain, said the. So this is Solskjaer talking, fake Solskjaer, saying. He said we should focus on winning matches instead of drawing or losing and play free-flowing attacking football. When I asked for specifics, he said, like Guardiola. Credit to him, he just sat in silence then, letting me soak in the information.
Well, look, the power of silence is just absolutely... It's underrated.
Oh,
it really is underrated.
But the thing I love about that, and it helps us move into our next topic, which will be Manchester United. Also, this part, signings came up too. Rio suggested we buy better players than other teams have for cheaper than they have paid for theirs. I asked for a little more detail, but he had to shoot off to Dizzy Rascal's, what is that? Album launch. So the reason I love this so much is that there's so many armchair fans out there who think they can solve their club's problems. And with Manchester United, it is... look, they're a club in crisis, really. Some people will say that's a bit of an exaggeration.
No, look, by their standards, they are.
Well,
by their standards.
Let's break this down.
They're not in crisis as in they're going to get relegated.
No. But crisis depends on the team. Because Huddersfield wasn't in crisis when they got relegated, but it was just expected.
That's it, by the standards.
So,
they're in crisis.
Going by the standards of Manchester United, which are a bit unrealistic at this moment. They really are. They've set their sights a little too high. Since they lost Alex Ferguson, it's just been getting
progressively.
Well, it hasn't been a steady decline because it was a massive drop at the start. They finished 7th.
A staggered decline, like a jagged decline.
Yeah, well, they've gone down.
Yeah, they go up,
then they go up, and they go down.
But the general trend is down.
Yes, definitely been going down.
So, yeah.
Well, just look at that.
That's United.
We'll just look at the short history since then. They appointed Moyes, who they appointed for 6 years. And his contract just ran out.
So he's off the books.
He's off the books now.
Yeah,
he's only just off the books.
Jeez. I wonder if I could do that. Just like convince someone to sign me for 6 years and then sack me like 2 weeks in because they realise I can't coach. And then I'm like, well, you got to pay me.
Yeah.
You got to pay me.
You gotta, he's just laughing his way to the bank.
Jeez.
And Spain and wherever else he went. But so they had Moyes. He was sacked within what? He didn't make it to January, I don't think.
Oh, he didn't make it to January?
I don't think he made it to January.
Yeah, so that's about, 5-6 a month he was in the job.
So then he...
No, season, 5-6 a month.
And then I think Giggs took over for the rest... So I think he did make it past January. But and then Giggs took over...
As a caretaker?
As a player manager, I'm pretty sure.
No, I don't think he was playing then.
I think he stopped playing, but I think he was still playing.
I would have remembered if I had a player manager United. Like, that's like amateur stuff.
Someone had a player manager recently, but it doesn't really matter. Anyway, Giggs took over then. I think he just retired, actually. Yeah. So he retired the season before, I think. Yeah, he was part of the exodus of players that left when Ferguson left. So wasn't that many players, actually, but it was enough, clearly. They started well. They won their first 3 games, I think, and then they lost to Liverpool, and it just went downhill from there. They finished 7th, I'm pretty sure, that season. Next season, they got Van Gaal.
Van Gaal, yeah.
For 2 seasons, who got them playing boring football, which the fans hated, but he got them 4th place finishes, I think, both times. I'm not sure if it was both times, but he improved the team on the 7th place finish they got. Yeah. So he definitely got them finished 4th in one of those seasons. So they got him back to the Champions League. He was then let go in controversial circumstances. They didn't. I don't think they told him that he was going to be gone the next season, and they just hired Mourinho because he was on the market.
They were sick of Van Gaal's boring style. So
the fans were sick of him.
The fans were sick of him,
and the owners just thought, let's just do what the fans want.
And then just sign someone who's going to bring some very entertaining football in Jose Mourinho. This is what they did.
The irony should be obvious there for anyone who knows Mourinho, who's known for his, let's just say,
he's
bus
one of the
parking.
biggest pragmatists of all time. Like, just doing whatever you got to do to win. No, not pretty. Just
First step, defense. Yeah. Second step, defense. Third step, counter.
Yeah,
that's pretty much Mourinho.
Yeah,
and he does it well. Though he's probably one of, if
well.
not the best manager at doing that. Although he has this ability to just sort of capitulate in. Some people say it's a 3rd season, but there's mixed reviews on whether it's really the 3rd season. If you look at the stats, it's not quite. He had this interview where he sort of debunked that. It was hilarious. His interviews are always quality. But yeah, so they brought in Mourinho. Van Gaal was angry, and then he's just been talking bad stuff about them ever since. And eventually, Mourinho made it to his 3rd season. He got him Champions League football by winning the Europa League. They finished 5th in his first season.
Yeah.
First season, they won the Europa League, so they got him to the Champions League. He then finished second, and he claims that to be his greatest achievement as a manager.
Yeah,
and this is a guy who's won the Champions League.
He won the Champions League with FC Porto, a Portuguese team. He won the Champions League. He then won the Champions League at Inter. And did he? No, he never won.
No. It's just those two.
Just those two. Yeah, just those
Although
two.
That's and he won the league with Real Madrid against Barcelona with a records point total.
Yeah.
And that was against Pep Guardiola. So that
he also managed Chelsea.
Hasn't been done.
And they went on
I
this.
think he's the only manager who has. Other than Pep Guardiola's first season in the EPL, the first manager to have beaten Pep Guardiola in a title race after he's established himself. Because at Barcelona he'd won every other season. At Bayern Munich he obviously won every season.
Yeah, he could be. This could be true.
So,
basically the gist is this guy.
He's good.
He's the real deal of managers.
And finishing second, trophyless season for Manchester United
was his greatest
achievement. So that's where Manchester United are at now. Because then last season,
and it's funny at the time he copped a lot of stick for saying that.
And then last season,
Well,
last season he made it to halfway mark more or less, or not even. I'm not sure. And it wasn't looking good, and they were 6th, and he got sacked. They brought in Solskjaer, who is an ex-player, to just bring up the enthusiasm, bring up the motivation of the team.
He do that?
And he did. And he started like a house on fire. He won his first 8 games or something like it. It was a really good run. Then he signed a full. Then he signed on to actually be the full-time manager.
Oh yeah. They appointed.
And then they pretty much had relegation form after that. I think they lost almost every game after that.
Maybe the United just don't want a permanent manager.
They don't want a permanent manager.
Maybe they just maybe they want it to be player driven. I don't know.
Yeah, be like Azibalaga, just be a union run club.
The union run club.
No, but on top of that, they have been spending a lot of money on players.
Ridiculous amounts of money.
But not... It's weird because Manchester City have spent a lot of money on players, but they've also bought a lot of players, right? And all those players are basically fit into the system. Manchester United...
Yeah, it's targeted signings, basically, from City.
Let them know. Who'd they buy?
For Manchester United.
Who'd they buy? Let them know.
Where do I start?
We'll start with a Juve boy, / Manchester United boy.
Yeah. So Juventus get Paul Pogba on a free, and then sell him for like 100 million.
I think it was a record at the time.
It was a record at the time. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's only one.
That's just one example.
They've bought. I'm not even going to talk about the smaller one. But Sanchez.
They bought Sanchez
from Arsenal.
But this is even earlier though. They brought Di Maria. Who was a failure. It turned out to be a failure for them, even though he's a great player.
He's been great everywhere else.
Except Man United.
Except Manchester United. They bought Juan Mata, obviously, at some point, but I think that was a bit earlier. But it's been since Ferguson's left.
He's been okay.
Yeah, he's been all right. Yeah, no, he has been good.
Yeah.
But he's sort of been playing out of position, and it's a bit... It's just a bit, like... They've
got no director of football, don't they?
Well, they've got no direction of football.
Yeah, that's exactly right. They're essentially trying to buy their way back without, buying players to fit into a system of play and taking a direction forward. You look at City and Liverpool, all their signings are targeted. They've got a way of playing. That's why they're dominating this season.
Yeah, well, the last season, the fish are swimming in the same direction,
Yeah.
Whereas in Manchester United, they're buying players that are sticking out like sore thumbs. That's been their... Well, that's the reason why they haven't progressed since Ferguson left. Because it's one thing to say, okay, the team they were left with was relatively average, and that's debatable. I don't think it was that bad a team, but they had players like Van Persie. Yeah. They had Ibrahimovic who had a stint who did well.
Yeah,
but he was also sort of like a standalone. Like there was no.
Yeah. But then he got injured, so.
When he got injured, they didn't. Lukaku as well. They bought him, and he's done all right, but
not consistent enough.
But apparently, but that's how he. That's the kind of player he is. He was like that at Everton, and. Where he'd sort of a flat track bully. He'd smash all the weaker teams, and then
well, that's the stick on him.
But
really,
he did start to turn it on against the better teams. But he's still not what they're looking for, and they're relying now a lot on.
Look, what they need is a director of football and a coach who can take it into a direction with a set style of play. United is not a team that should be looking at countering the opposition. It's like, how are you going to play? How do we counter that? No. United should be trying to boss the game.
Yeah, well,
if you've got that amount of money to spend, that's what you should be looking at to do.
That's a good point because we'll look at the top 6, and each team kind of has Tottenham's probably the exception. They don't really have an identity. They just sort of they're Tottenham, right? They're sort of. I guess they have their own identity, but it's not a defined thing.
But they've still got something to say. This is how we play.
Yeah,
right? And clearly City and Liverpool do.
Yeah, well, City have got their possession style, although that's changed. They've been more adaptable. Last season they were. Liverpool had their pressing. That's their strongest point, but they've also adapted. They've developed a backbone in defence. Yeah. Chelsea have generally been sort of the they've been under Mourinho so often, and other managers where defense comes first, and then they sort of build from there. But Sarri, they played Sarri ball. It's like a passing game. It's like a tiki-taka sort of weird hybrid. But and it mostly worked. They ended up third. Well, we'll get to Chelsea soon.
We will.
And Arsenal have just got this free-flowing playing football, which doesn't win you trophies. That's Arsenal.
Well, that was under Mourinho. I don't know about Emery.
You mean Wenger? Under Wenger. They never had Mourinho as a manager.
There we go.
Mourinho and Wenger were arch nemesis.
That was Mourinho at Arsenal. Jeez. Under Wenger, I stand correct. Under Wenger, they were free flowing. I'm not sure about Emery,
but I think he's translated a lot of those. He's still got that going, but he's also got. I think that there's a bit of brutiness coming. They had one season with Emery. They've improved definitely.
Well, then, they need to go
because they were pushing for the top 4 this season, but Arsenal's another time. But Manchester United, they really just have no direction whatsoever. It
doesn't seem like they're going to get it anytime soon.
I should be happy about this. I'm not happy. This is it's a bit like you with wanting Milan to come back in Serie A. It's a similar story there where Juventus have just dominated. They're so far ahead of everybody, and the Milan clubs.
I'm more passionate about Italian football than Juventus itself.
And that's kind of how I feel. When I didn't feel good when United got knocked. I hope they knocked out Barca, but they didn't. They got smashed by them, and Man United. It pains me to watch them at the moment. Although I have to say, I do get a bit of glee from the way the fans are reacting because they do not know how to deal with it. It's just so difficult.
Well, you wouldn't expect them to.
Well,
there's essentially a generation who've grown up with success.
Yeah, like a whole generation of success. I was lucky to miss that part as a Liverpool fan because I basically started really getting behind Liverpool after they won the FA Cup. After Istanbul, so it was 2000. They signed Torres, so I didn't have any of that, that history to go with it.
It was the Champions League.
The Champions
FA
League.
Cup wouldn't be in Istanbul, would it?
No.
You said
no. I said the FA Cup after Istanbul because they won FA Cup the next season. So I started really supporting after that season.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, that's when I started really getting into it. And so I didn't have all that baggage.
So the Champions League wasn't enough for you? Needed that FA Cup?
No.
That was the one.
I didn't even know about that. I didn't even know what happened.
The one that Champions League.
So we won this.
When do we get the FA Cup?
Well, that was a good goal to win that FA Cup. To draw it, sorry. But still, what I'm saying is I didn't have the baggage of all this history of success, all that stuff. Success. That's not why I joined. So I don't have that sort of deep hole in my insides going, where did everything go wrong? What's happening?
Well,
why is everything? So United fans don't know how to deal with it. And I've had to deal with at least 10 years of United fans just being assured of victory essentially.
For good reason.
But not understanding why they're winning. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's the thing. Yeah. And now they almost feel entitled to it, and it's sickening to watch sometimes, but a little bit funny. But it's really difficult though. Because when your team, you're so used to a team winning and you don't understand why they're doing it, then afterwards when things go wrong,
you don't know why they're winning.
So and then you don't know why they're losing, and then suddenly, sack him, throw him out, chuck this guy out, sign this guy, sign that guy, and that's where we come around full circle to this article about Ferdinand.
Because
we should stop losing games.
We buy better players than the other teams have for cheaper than they paid for theirs.
And I've seen so many fans complain about how much United have to spend on players. It's like, it's because of the market. It's because we're United. And no, you come out and say, we insist we're going to get this guy. Then the other guys know that they can just take as much money as they want. But like for example, Liverpool, they've had a different policy. People have been just messing with them. They go, well, stuff you. We don't need the player. We're just going to buy someone else, you know. And Salah wasn't our first choice. There were a few others that weren't our first choice, and we got them, and we've done just fine. So
we have, yeah.
If you have a direction, it's a different story. But if you just said, I want this guy because he's famous, he'll be our marquee player, you know, like Pogba, Sanchez, like they're pure, like marquee, like Di Maria, you know, it's just like PSG buying Neymar.
They're just big names,
yeah.
And they're not obviously gelling. And there's going to be a key off season as well because Pogba wants to go. De Gea could be on his way. So who knows where United will be come the start of the season.
Yeah, well this season, United, the first thing they need to do is hold on to their players.
They do.
But not just for one season. They need to give them a reason to stay.
That's right.
And get rid of the players who don't want to stay and make sure the others don't follow suit.
What to do that? They need a direction.
And
they need to develop a project and a plan to say this is where we want to be in a few years' time. And that's it.
Which it doesn't look like they have. But they've definitely put their money on the thing. They're looking to make a bunch of signings, but we're not going to go into signings because it's all speculation at this point.
Until they're done, we don't talk about it.
Yeah, because it's just a waste of time. And it'll be over in a month, so we'll see what happens then. But this season, it's really about them holding on to those players, trying to give the impression, because they don't have Champions League as well, which is another issue.
So they've got Europa League, don't they?
Yeah, but Europa League isn't a pulling.
They'll just win that.
So they can make the Champions League next season because they're not going to make the top four this season.
Do you reckon Arsenal will beat them?
It depends. See, this is all speculation that I do not care for, Mr. Cosby.
Why?
Because
it's fun.
It was so far away from getting an answer to that.
Yeah.
So that I think we're in agreement here that they're basically about. It's a reputational battle for them at the moment. They need to make themselves a destination club and give give players the impression that they can get into the top four consistently.
That's the thing. The only reason these players are going there is because of the wages and the big money.
And
they're not actually.
They still have a big reputation. That's the thing.
And they do. That's the other
United.
thing. And there'll always be someone to.
Yeah,
with interest to get them back to where they need to be.
Yeah, we discussed this in our video. Yeah.
We did, yeah.
So, that's more or less where Manchester United are, and it's a real tough place for a fan to be. I do feel for the genuine fans, although I can't get enough of those gloaty fans that the world's falling apart for them. That's beautiful.
They don't get it. They don't get it.
No, they don't get it. But my heart goes out to the rest of the fans who are normal people. Good on you. But speaking of fans that might be a little bit flimsy, Chelsea this season.
You reckon they're flimsy, are they?
The fans, no, look, Chelsea fans, they have a good fan base, but they've also got a plastic fan base.
Really?
So that's not all of them.
Of course,
it's just they've got sections of them that Chelsea fans don't want to associate with, but they do, and then other fans just jump onto plastic money, because Chelsea also, as we know, they got in on their money, and they're going through a transition of their own. So Manchester United, obviously Ferguson left, that's sort of their big drop, but Chelsea.
Chelsea have never had like a consistent manager ever.
Yeah,
that's their thing.
No, right? from Mourinho. From when Abramovic came in. Yeah. So that's.
But Mourinho was there.
Yeah, of course. He was there for the first stint.
But then after that, it's been pretty much.
I think he was the first one that he signed.
Yeah,
the first manager.
Yeah, he was, and then after that,
good signing.
Got a very good signing.
Very good signing. He struck gold there.
Yeah, but after that, it's been chop and change managers pretty much every second of the season.
Yeah, sometimes they make it to 3 seasons, but I think it's generally Mourinho that's only made it more than 2 seasons.
Yeah, it's besides him, it's been a pretty much.
But that started in 2004, I believe, 2004-05 season. Mourinho started well with two premierships. So they've been consistently winning the Premier League since that time.
With different managers.
But with different managers. Mostly Mourinho. Mourinho's won 3 of them for him. And there have been 2 others, one for Conte and one for Ancelotti. Yeah. And you can see a trend here. There's been a lot of Italian managers.
Yeah,
how do you feel about that, Cos?
Pretty good. I think Di Matteo won the Champions League.
Di Matteo won the Champions League.
You can't forget Di Matteo.
Yeah, Di Matteo. He was a caretaker manager and saw out the season and won the Champions League, which they've been... That was hilarious, though, because they've been wanting the Champions League for a while.
And then this Di Matteo.
And then they got a guy that was there to basically just... get them through the season, and
he won the Champions
because he just had that enthusiasm about him. But he didn't really have a tactical sense for a longer plan. And next season he lasted 3 months and he got sacked.
Something like that, I reckon it's the blue shirt. It draws the Italians in.
It must be.
It's a good shirt.
Azzurri.
Yeah, it's a good shirt.
Yeah, so so Mourinho, after Mourinho there was Avram Grant for a short period. That was I think 1 season. Yeah. I think Ancelotti came after him, or there might have been someone in between, but he did well. I think in his first season he won, and the second season he didn't win, so he got sacked. And that's Chelsea, and that's basically been Chelsea since Abramovic came in.
Who was after Ancelotti?
I think it was another Italian.
Was it Di Matteo?
No. Di Matteo saw out some other season, but they've had Gus Hiddink as a caretaker.
Rafa Benitez
was a caretaker.
Yeah,
they've had a few caretakers because they keep sacking managers halfway through the season. I think Rafa then took on the full. I can't even tell. It doesn't really matter. He did okay, but he didn't win anything. I don't think with them. I think he might have won the Europa League.
Maybe.
I'm not sure if that was. Yeah. I think that was Benitez.
Chelsea did win a Europa, but
Benitez won the Europa League. I'm pretty sure.
Because of
I think he came in once again as a caretaker and then just did the job because he knows how to get those things done. European competition, he's experienced there, and his managing sort of suits that competition, the knockout competition.
There was also Andre Villas-Boas.
Yes, Villas-Boas. Yes, and
that was a disaster.
I think Gus Hiddink has actually had 2 caretaker stints. He's
That's for Chelsea.
Yeah, because he's got contacts with him, and because he coached the Russian team for a bit, and for some reason they're friends. So Villas-Boas was meant to be the start of something new for Chelsea. They were meant to. He's a young manager.
Like the big signing.
He was meant to be the change. He's like, all right, we're going to stop sacking managers all the time. But then it got derailed after a good, 5 months. It was clear that it wasn't going to work because he instilled this sort of attacking football, which was just a bit too gung-ho.
Chelsea in attacking just don't go.
No, the team wasn't made for it, and the manager sort of lost his team eventually, and he got sacked. But that's Chelsea. Now we move to 2019-20 season. Chelsea have, for the first time,
not been in control.
Yes. So the first thing, manager, he left on his own accord.
Maurizio Sarri left Chelsea to go to Juventus,
and so it's the first
with a bit of lip as well.
Yeah, well, last season they sacked the unsackable manager, Antonio Conte.
Did they sack him or did he leave? Was it a mutual consent?
I don't know, but I think he stuck around, and they got sacked. I think they had 2 managers on the books at one time, and then eventually I think they let him go somehow. He's at Inter now, Inter Milan.
Yeah.
So good luck to him. Good manager, great man. He won. He performed a miracle when he
came out today and he said, "There's no excuses for Inter. There's a huge gap between us and Juve. However, that's no excuse. We're going to get him." That's pretty much what he said.
That's Conte.
That's Conte.
He's a fighter, and he did really well with Chelsea. But he still got sacked in the second season because he didn't win the trophy. Even though he got him into, I don't know what he did, but he didn't win them the trophy. They didn't get Champions League, and that was too much. So they sacked the unsackable manager. Yeah. And then they got rejected by a manager for the first time in their recent history.
Yeah, he left.
He left because he wanted to go to Juve. He wanted to go back to Italy as well for family reasons.
He did want to go back for family reasons, but I think he just wasn't appreciated at Chelsea
in
the way he should have been because, look, he got him into Champions League. He won the Europa League.
Yeah.
In his first season.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
And they got him into third in a race for third because no one was going to catch Liverpool and Manchester City. No, they finished third.
Ahead of Tottenham.
Oh,
yeah. Right.
Yeah, because Tottenham were too focused on the Champions League.
Okay.
They sort of coughed it up and didn't matter in the end because third and fourth doesn't make a difference for Champions League qualification anymore. It used to, but doesn't.
No.
Yeah.
So, it was a great effort, but he's gone.
Yeah, well,
he's gone.
And he left. And on top of that, a player left, and that's not happened before either because
on his own accord.
Yeah, because normally the players, like they wear them till they're done, or they're no longer they're surplus to requirements.
Yeah, Chelsea have controlled when players go.
Yes.
This time, Hazard's gone.
Hazard's gone, and it was a mutual thing in the end, but
they wanted him.
Yeah, well, they wanted him to stay, obviously. But
that's the key point.
And Hazard went to Real Madrid. They don't normally lose a player to a bigger club or something like that. A few players have gone to Liverpool, but they were surplus to requirements.
Yeah.
A few players I think went to Manchester United or Juan Mata went there.
Basically, the gist is it's okay for you to leave.
Yeah.
With Hazard, no, we want you to stay. It's not.
Exactly. It's the first time that's happened.
Yeah.
So now they have signed Lampard, so an ex-player.
Yeah. Which can go either way.
Well, I think
Lampard. Look, it's good that he understands the club, the culture, the winning ways.
But he's
inexperienced manager.
Exactly.
He did well at Derby in the Championship, but this is a
he's really inexperienced.
This is a huge step up.
Yep.
Massive.
But theory has it that part of the reason for that is there's a transfer ban on Chelsea now. So they got.
That's the other thing.
I don't know if it's 2 years or if it's two transfer periods.
We're not sure
which
how
would be
long,
1 season.
They can't sign anyone now.
Yeah, they can't sign anyone now. So some say that it's a good time because no one's expecting Chelsea to succeed now. Although Chelsea have this weird loaning system. They buy youth players by the handful. They've got like they've got like 20 something players on loan, or more. I can't remember, some ridiculous amount of loanees. And it's sort of like it's an investment scheme. They sort of buy players young, send them off to clubs, do their bidding in Europe, all over Europe, and then they come back and sell them at a profit, essentially. Something along those lines.
Yeah, which it's kind of crazy when you think about some of the players they had.
Yeah.
I mean, Cuadrado was one of them. Wasn't Salah one of them?
Salah was in the first team, and then they're just like, nah, no thanks. Kevin De Bruyne, another player, no thanks.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Oh. No, there's more.
Yeah, of course there's more.
But I can't remember off the top of my head now, but yeah, there were more players. There was Lukaku as well.
But if you look at it now, there's this. What's this?
Well, they have this surplus of youth players now. That's the thing, which they can call back.
Who was the young youth player at Chelsea that's doing well? Was it Hudson Odoi?
Yeah, they just signed him for a long-term deal.
This is the point. Like, they've got talent there.
Yeah,
and Lampard actually has said that he's going to look to play the youth a bit more, but they still have to earn their position. But he's going to be open-minded to this. Bringing in through some youth. So
there's optimism that Chelsea will change their ways because it's hard for a Chelsea fan because they can't really attach themselves to a manager because they keep changing. The players keep changing because of that, because different managers, different playing styles.
If Lampard does well, he's going to be hard to get rid of.
True, but not at Chelsea. Like at any other club, yes, but at Chelsea, although without backlash, you're right. Yeah, without backlash.
He's a legend there.
He is. Absolute
legend.
Manchester City pulled a jibe because he had a short stint at Manchester City, but that was a weird mixed deal because Manchester City are owned by like the thing group.
What they Saudi?
Yeah. But they basically got teams in the Australian League. They got teams in the American League. They got teams in all over the world. And they technically signed him for the American team.
Yeah.
And then they loaned him out to Manchester City.
The UAE, sorry.
UAE.
Etihad.
Yeah. Either way, there's like a group. There's like a name.
Yeah, there's Melbourne City, there's New York City.
Yeah.
And there's Manchester City. I don't know if there's any more.
And there's more, but they're not relevant to this particular.
Maybe they can have a little competition of Red Bull.
Red Bull.
You got the New York Red Bulls, Red Bull.
Yeah,
Salzburg,
they've got a similar setup actually.
Yeah, you could have a little
similar
tournament
setup
amongst them. Yeah,
but I don't think Red Bull has anyone on that caliber. Leipzig wouldn't be able to cope with City. No chance.
Yeah, well, City's their trump card.
Yeah.
But other than that,
Yeah, they'll just demolish everyone. But anyway, so Lampard played for them, and then City just had that little thing where he's a Manchester City legend, and someone put a caption. I'm not sure if that's a jibe at Chelsea or a jibe at Manchester City. That Manchester City have such a short history at the top that a guy that played there for half a season is a legend. But yes, he's now coaching Manchester. No, he's coaching Chelsea. He's coaching Chelsea. There's hope now for the fans that they won't be that club, because look, it's been a while since Abramovic took over, and
it's been
I'm not a big fan of people sort of jumping on the money thing and saying, "Oh, they bought their way in." Look, everyone eventually gets their way through money, right? They just took a bit of a shortcut, but they have they've stayed on. They've stayed on, so. And they've continued to be strong. They've continued to be relevant. People still think of Chelsea as a strong club. They've won 5 titles in the last 15 seasons, and that includes a good 10 years or so fighting against Alex Ferguson. So they've done really well.
Well, even recently under Conte, there's been a top 6, genuine top 6. So
yeah, exactly.
They've done well.
It's so they're still a very strong club, and they're by no means don't have any history. But as Sarri said when he went to Juventus, he was happy to go to Juventus because
it's a step up for him.
Well, he said
he said
this story has been going on for 100 years, and Chelsea's has only been going for 20 or so.
Yeah,
and I don't think it's even been 20 years. But
I guess from his point of view as well, growing up as an Italian, Juventus is probably the pinnacle of coaching.
Yeah.
So
sure,
it would have been his dream probably from a young age.
And if he can get him some European acclaim, then well done to him, because not many managers, only 2 managers have done that in their history. So,
but having said all that, going forward, there's a lot of question marks around where Chelsea will be at the end of the season. Well,
they've got the benefit of having Champions League football, but they can't sign any players. So they really need to hold on to that top 4 spot. And we reckon Chelsea with Manchester United will be the more likely of the 6.
The 5th or 6th spots.
Yeah, to be.
Even though they're a good team, they'll probably need to... Look, Hazard is a massive loss.
They lost Hazard, and they can't sign players. So they can't replace him with...
Anyone.
A focal point, and they really and they don't have Morata.
Hazard influenced the results. He changed games.
Yeah,
he's that good.
Yeah, he's one of those players that can just sort of his goal and assist tally weren't last season was really good, but
it's not that.
It doesn't truly reflect
that he'll draw plays to him, maybe 1 or 2 as well.
You got to be thinking about him all the time. He takes defenders away from the other players,
and even their positions as well. He's huge.
Massive
loss.
So they have to find a way to cope without him. And usually, what happens in situations like this is the transition is you lose a star player. You need you sign a few players, you start playing a slightly different system, and it takes a year to adapt at least. Chelsea can't sign players, but they have their youth players, which they've been sending on loan everywhere. So they got Kovacic coming back, American, I think.
Look, if Lampard can devise a system where they can get their players playing together in a cohesive unit, well, then they could finish in the top 4.
Yeah, and they've got an amateur manager in,
because of all these factors,
the odds are against them.
The odds are against them, but they could finish in the top 4.
But we'll talk more about their rivals in later weeks. In a couple of weeks, we'll talk about Arsenal and Tottenham. But like you're saying, looking forward, they need to they need to make the use of their young players. That's basically the main thing that they need to do, and somehow get through this transfer ban. Basically, it's survival. This is survival.
It's a big job. He's got to get the best out of the players he's got. He's got to devise a system. Look, it's not going to be easy.
And try and hang on to that top 4 spot as well, because they want to later on,
key.
when the transfer ban is lifted, they want to be able to sign players that want to play Champions League. So, and with the top 6, it's and also by the time the transfer ban is over, Manchester United might be a little bit closer to competing. So, that's sort of like they're sort of in a damage control mode now.
Yeah, definitely.
So no one's expecting them to do wonders this season, but they need to retain their position more or less in the hierarchy. And compete later with Arsenal's.
If they get a top 4, that should be.
If they make top 4, that's a really good job. That's their job done. That should be their number 1 priority this season. So, that's pretty much the wrap up from hopefully it's the lead up to the new season. Like I said, we're going to go into Europe next week. We'll talk a bit about that. Then we'll go back to the EPL the week after. And more or less get the lead up into the Champions League, Europa League, and what teams, the representatives from all the leagues around Europe in the top 5, because we're not going to go into all the leagues. There's too many. There's just too many.
There's too many, and we'll obviously relate that back to the EPL. Because that's what we do. That's how we do.
Meanwhile, feel free to check out our videos on our YouTube channel. The link is wherever I can throw it, and you might even be listening to this on the YouTube channel, and Tumblr page if you want to. It's not that important, but Facebook is where we just write everything. So keep tabs on that. Thanks for listening, and
thanks for listening. Take care, all, and we'll talk to you next week.
Next
That's
week.
what we do.
Talk to you then.